looks like just any other minor league baseball team getting ready for the season opener. But it is not.
My mom said she knew when I was about 9 when we were in the supermarket and I was walking by her side and I was announcing the trip. And we're passing the spaghetti sauce on the right, and what will Mom go? Will she get the ragu? She does. She has ragu.
He could not have known it then. That was the early 70s. But young Jim Lucas's chance of fulfilling his childhood dream to become a professional baseball announcer was all but erased by one fateful decision he made a decade later on November 15, 1983, at college.
When I was at the radio station in the auxiliary studio, just messing around, cutting a commercial, and I see this guy from my algebra class walk in, and it was Don Wardlow. And I said, I know that guy from algebra, never talked to him before in my life. What is he doing here at the station? So I listen in, he does a 5-minute sportscast. He was flawless, and I was just blown away. So I had to meet him.
Jim caught up with him in the hallway, but never got a chance to introduce himself.
I had never talked to him before. He looks up at me and he said, Jim Lucas, are you up for a challenge?
Program?
So Jim and Don set out to conquer the baseball broadcasting world.
There you go.
And just like the folks sitting in the stands in Charleston tonight, Jim and Don would go to Yankee Stadium for every home game. They would buy the cheapest tickets available and sit there and do their own play-by-play in the grandstands for an imaginary listening audience.
It was a comedy, really. It would be me and Don, a tape recorder. We would announce like it was Game 7 of the World Series.
Here's the 0-2 pitch with a runner at third. It hit him.
But their dream, like a lot of college friendships, faded, and reality set in.
85, 6, and 7, we didn't do much. I was a bill collector. Don worked at a factory in New Jersey.
It was the odds that got to Jim and Don.
The Charleston River Dogs are on the air.
Think about it. Few athletes ever fulfill their dream of making it to the pros. And for every entire baseball team, there are but 2 radio announcers.
First base with a big lead, and the pitch is swung on, fouled away.
No one is doing what Jim Lucas is doing. No one ever had the nerve to try.
Jim, how can you put your life dreams in the hands of a blind man? It's never been done. It'll never happen.
And Randall Shelley, 4, 5, and 6 in the batting order for the Savannah Sand Gnats.
Oh, but it has. And by now you've figured out that Jim's broadcast partner, the guy he met in college, Don Wardlow, is blind.
I was born with no eyes. 3 strikeouts for Doug Wechter. And we're at number 5 hitting Scott Hurd.
You know, when you're listening on the air, you just take it for granted that you don't think he's blind. You can't believe that he is blind.
Fastball on the outside corner, taken, strike 2.
Hurd is as big of a prospect as the Savannah Sand Gnats have. He was taken in the first round 2 seasons ago.
Don, really, it's good that you're blind because Igor Franco's dye job on his hair, unbelievably ugly. You know what, we should color your hair.
Terrible idea. It's one of the worst ideas you've had. I wanted to say about Eker, though, his English, I think, is coming along better than his dye job.
Don Wardlow, a baseball announcer, a blind man, helping paint a picture for those listening on radio.
All my blind friends said he was using me. He'd get a real job announcing somewhere, and he'd dump me.
My people said, what are you doing with this blind guy? Sighted people said, what are you doing with this blind guy?
Hey, it's coming our way. Ouch! Oop! Crash.
Some people in the stands know about the blind guy in the booth.
He's great. I mean, he does the old Harry Carey thing, leading the crowd in the 7th inning stretch song.
God bless America.
And yes, he even leads the singing. One of the 2 of them is blind.
No, I did not know that. Wow. So how does he do it?
Now that is a good question.
Had you ever been drafted before and just said no?
He does his interviews during the day, recording every word.
Just amazed that he can go ahead and do what he's doing, you know, and speaking 2 different languages and asking you questions while he's reading, you know, in Braille, and never seen anything like it.
How you doing?
Great. How about you?
Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Don checks out every player, and Ezra, Don's seeing eye dog, checks out every shoe. Back up in the booth, Don translates the recordings into Braille along with statistics on every player from every team.
And he's a very young ball player. He will be 20 in August, Felix Nunez.
People say that Don's real lucky, that he has a sighted guy that he can do this with and he can be an announcer. They got it all wrong. I'm lucky that in my life, 20 years ago, I found Don Wardlow.
So we chalk up the first miscue for the Savannah Sand Nats to Mr. Rollins.
It's been a long 20-year climb for Don Wardlow, and every inch of it in the dark.
There's a rush that I cannot explain to anybody who doesn't do this job for a living. It just is an indescribable rush.
A child born with no eyes, who as a boy fell in love with baseball, listening at home on the radio.
I take a good deal of pride in what Jim and I have accomplished together, but above all things, I'm trying to be a normal guy, holding down a job, keeping a wife, keeping a marriage together.
Don is about hope. If Don Wardlow can announce baseball at this level, anything's possible. He's my best friend.
Lead and the pitch.
Stop! You blind! What's wrong with you?
So Don, quickly getting back to dyeing your